If crime was legal for a day, what exactly would you do? If your actions had no repercussions, what would you get up to? If crime was legal for a day, I wouldn't murder anyone. I'd just mess about for hours. I'd just try to have some fun. If crime was legal for a day, I'd break into Waterstones. I'd read all the Harry Potter books and help myself to scones. I'd read of mice and men and a brief history of time, but I wouldn't go near 50 Shades. That's far too bad a crime. If crime was legal for a day, I'd go into Pets at Home. I'd open all the cages and let the animals free to roam. The snakes would slither everywhere, hamsters and rats would crawl, then I'd let in a crocodile and watch it eat them all. If I could get away with it, if crime was legal for a day, I'd eat McDonald's, Burger King, and I'd try every Subway. I'd have a fast food meal made of 7 different courses, every starter, main, dessert, all the salads and the sauces. If crime was legal for a day, I'd go into Marks and Spencer's. I'd eat all the fancy ready meals and empty the drink dispensers. I'd have a giant banquet feast with all the mannequins and decorate their faces with tattoos and silly grins. If crime was legal for a day, I'd round up everyone I meet. We'd break into the cinema and steal popcorn and sweets. We'd watch our favourite films and plug in a PS4, play our favourite video games and then watch films some more. If crime was legal for a day, if I wasn't going to be caught, I'd hack into my bank account and add an extra nought. Then as the day went on, if I got really bored, I'd admit that it was me and apologise for acts of fraud. If crime was legal for a day, I'd hit golf balls off the roof. I'd run around and take photos in every passport photo booth. I'd break into the armories and steal the swords and shields and have an epic gladiator battle across the nearest field. If crime was legal for a day, I'd steal myself a fancy suit, a shirt and tie as well, maybe a belt or some new boots. I'd get a hat, gloves and a coat and even a scarf to match. Then before the day was up, I'd just put all of it back. If crime was legal for a day, if I couldn't get arrested, I'd pour piranhas into a swimming pool until it was infested. Then I'd dare the nearest passerby to take a run and dive and see how quick it was before they were eaten alive. If crime was legal for a day, I'd have a day trip to IKEA. I'd eat all the meatballs, have an ice cream and a beer. Then I'd nap on every sofa and have a sleep on every bed. Whilst everyone else was stealing furniture, I'd be using it instead. If crime was legal for a day, I'd steal myself a fancy car, but I wouldn't pimp it up or even drive it very far. I'd do donuts in a car park and maybe drive it down some stairs, but I'd make sure when I returned it to pay for damage or repairs. If crime was legal for a day, if I couldn't get in trouble, I'd walk into Wetherspoons and pour myself a double. I'd try everything they had on tap and then do shots just for the thrill, but I'd come in the very next day and make sure I paid the bill. If crime was legal for a day, I'd have a Mario Kart race. I'd steal a pedal cart from Argos and make sure I came first place. I'd dress up like Luigi. I'm not a fan of Peach or Toad, but if we painted the streets all different colours, we'd pretend it's Rainbow Road. I know I might sound boring, but crime isn't really for me. There's no pride in earning things if you just take them all for free. I wouldn't hurt or steal from anyone. I wouldn't act much like a vandal. I might just eat a tub of Haribo or light a scented candle. But if a new law came into place and all the rules were thrown away, meaning every crime committed was legal for a day, I have to ask, what exactly would you do? If your actions had no repercussions, what would you get up to?